Dear students, we are in the second part of the autism spectrum disorders. Now, going into the causes for autism spectrum disorders. While a specific cause or specific causes of autism spectrum disorders has yet to be found, many risk factors have been identified in the research literature that may contribute to the development of an ASD condition. So basically, we do not have a definite cause which is leading to the condition. So that we are mostly looking into the risk factors which are leading to ASD. These risk factors are genetics or genetic factors, prenatal, perinatal factors, neuroanatomical abnormalities, and environmental factors. The factors which are risk factors leading to ASD are genetic factors, prenatal and perinatal factors, neuroanatomical abnormalities, and environmental factors. It is possible to identify general risk factors, but much more difficult to pinpoint specific factors. In the current state of knowledge, prediction can only be of a global nature and therefore requires the use of general markers. So what are those general markers? In genetic risk factors, the results of a family twin studies will quotes I will be quoting some of the journals. Studies suggest that genetic factors play a role in the etiology of autism and other pervasive developmental disorders. Studies have consistently found that the prevalence of autism in siblings of autistic children is approximately 15 to 30 times greater than the rate in the general population. So, siblings who have autistic problems in a particular same family, or even in a family related related children showing, so they have showing genetic reason may increase their risk factor to 15 to 30 times greater than in the general population, not the normal general population. In addition, research suggests that there is a much higher concordance rate among monozygotic twins compared to the dizygotic twins. That is, identical twins may have a more chance for autism. Together may show autistic features. It appears that there is no single gene that can account for autism. No single gene is showing problem in all these children who have been diagnosed and been studied. Instead, there seems to be multiple genes involved, in each of which is a risk factor for part of the autism spectrum through various groups. So we will go through what are those areas in which they're showing these conditions. So associated conditions such as intellectual disability, seizures, and epilepsy, we have already gone through that. Now we'll have some more conditions such as tuberous sclerosis, fragile X syndrome, and chromosome duplication. Here it is 15q and 11q13. That means where you have studied the when we study the chromosome, we know that chromatid is there, and then the centromere, the whole long thing is called chromatid. The center bisection is crossing is called centromere. Then you have a smaller arm which is called as B, and the longer arm is called as the Q of the chromatid. So this Q means the longer arm of the chromatid, that is chromosome 15q 11q13. Interstitial duplication, or try means either it is double multiplied two times, or a triplication or three times the same particular single gene. So here it happens in the 15th pair, and then in the 11th to 13th pair. So here this is a common area where we see, and especially this duplication is also commonly seen along with conditions such as Angelman syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, Rett syndrome, Smith-Lemli-Opitz syndrome, which is the Smith-Lemli-Opitz syndrome is a cholesterol biosynthesis disorder. Now other factors I already perinatal and prenatal. that is before delivery and during delivery, or is a risk factor which may lead to for these conditions such as ASD. A number of perinatal prenatal complications have been reported as possible risk factors for autism. These risk factors include maternal gestational diabetes, maternal and parental age over of 30. Most commonly, maternal age over is more complicated than the paternal age over of 30. Bleeding after first trimester, use of prescription medication, example valproate during pregnancy, and meconium in the amniotic fluid. That is meconium, and that will lead to child to meconium aspiration. While research is not conclusive on the relation of these factors to autism, each of these factors has been identified more frequently in autistic children compared to their non-autistic siblings and other normally developing youth. We'll go into the pathophysiology. In general, neuroanatomical studies support the notion that autism is linked with a combination of brain enlargement in some areas and brain reduction in other areas. So it is a phenomenon whereas in some area the brain is enlarged, some area the brain is reduced. That means some area there is hypertrophy, some area there is atrophy. These studies suggest that autism may be caused by abnormal neuronal growth and pruning during the early stages of prenatal and postnatal brain development, leaving some areas of the brain with too many neurons and other area with too few neurons or the neurons of a lesser size. Some research has reported an overall brain enlargement in autism, while others suggest abnormalities in several areas of the brain, including the frontal lobe, which is the area for decision making, judgment, the mirror neuron system, which is very significant neuronal system which we have recently developed. The neuroscience have gone more into deeper into this area, understanding the different aspects of our behavior as well as learning capabilities. The limbic system, which is the emotional part of the brain, the area which controls our emotion, everything is in the that is the area. The temporal lobe, which is the area related to comprehension, speech, and all, both types of speech, motor as well as sensory, and the corpus callosum, which connects the synchronizes the two cortexes, and basically very important for the bimanual and synchronized smooth motor skills. Then the mirror neuron systems consist of a network of brain areas that have been associated with empathy process in humans. Empathy is meaning that comparing everything to oneself himself. So that is empathy process. So this process is basically due to the system which inside the brain, which is a mirror neuron system. Like a mirror, these neurons they are considered to be like a mirror. In humans, the mirror neuron system has been identified in the inferior frontal gyrus and the inferior parietal lobule, and is thought to be activated during imitation or observation of behaviors. Normally, some people do mimicry very nicely because their mirror neuron systems are excellently active. Same way, during the normal children also, they imitate their parents when they during the early age. They try to talk in the same way as their mother is speaking or father, and whatever they are saying, without even understanding what they are saying, they will try to mimic or imitate and observation of the behavior of the parents and trying to imitate this. The connection between neuron dysfunction and autism is tentative, and it remains to be seen how mirror neurons may be related to many of the important characteristics of autism. Temporal lobe, as I already told you, is a very important part of for all of our speech and the social mainly language, and then to that leading to social attention, cognition and attention, action, observation, and empathy. So the functions of temporal lobe are related to many of the deficits observed in individuals with ASDs, such as a receptive language, social cognition, joint attention, action observation, empathy. The temporal lobe also contains the superior temporal sulcus and the fusiform face area, which may mediate facial processing. That means how according to the language part, when we comprehend something, automatically the emotions will come in our face. So these things are controlled by the temporal lobe. It has been argued that dysfunction in the STS, that is the superior temporal sulcus, underlines the social deficits that characterize autism. Compared to typically developing individuals, one of functional MRIs study which is normally MRI study is used to understand structural anomaly. fMRI is called as a functional MRI, where we can also see the structure at the same time. What is the functional anomaly which is happening? So one fMRI study found that individuals with high functioning autism means that they have high intellectual functioning, but the severity of the problem is also very very much seen and very much severe, as reduced activity in the FFA, that is a fusiform face area, when viewing pictures of faces. The other one is mitochondria, the powerhouse of the human body. The mitochondrial dysfunction, it has been hypothesized that ASD, that is autism spectrum disorder, could be linked to a mitochondrial disorder, as it is a basic cellular abnormality that has a potential to cause disturbances in a wide range of body systems. A recent meta-analysis study, meta-analysis is a type of study, as well as other population studies, have shown that approximately 5% of the children with ASD meet the criteria for classical mitochondrial disease. So what is the method of diagnosing these children? ASD can be detected as early as 18 months or even younger in some cases. A reliable diagnosis can usually be made by age of 2. The diverse expressions of ASD symptoms pose diagnostic challenge to clinicians. Now, students, you now what when you have reached here, you yourself would have understood that this is not a simple condition. It's many various conditions put into the same domain, an umbrella term called as autism spectrum disorder, and the risk factors are numerous, and it's a highly complicated condition to understand and to treat also. So diagnosing, and expressing the symptoms pose diagnostic challenges to the clinicians. Individuals with an ASD may present at various times of development. So it can happen in toddler, child, or even sometimes we see that the clinical symptoms, get exaggerated during the adolescent stage, and symptom expression may vary over the course of development. Furthermore, clinicians are required to differentiate among the different pervasive developmental disorders, as well as other disorders such as intellectual disability. Intellectual disability means the disability within intelligence. So mental retardation may be also be seen in some cases. Not associated. So here the intellectual disability not associated with PDD, specific developmental disorders such as language or only social deficit. So these kind of, and other early onset schizophrenia. So that is why they're putting this under the psychiatric conditions, because early onset of schizophrenia may be due to the ADHD, as well as the social cognitive deficits caused by brain damage from alcohol abuse. Considering the unique challenges associated with diagnosing ASD, specific practice parameters for the assessment of ASD has been published by American Academy of Neurology, the American Academy of the Neurology, American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. See, these conditions are not simply put into diagnosis. These are well studied, well researched, and have been under the American Academy of Neurology and American Academy of Adolescent Psychiatry, and the consensus panel with representation from various professional societies.